Okay, everybody, let's take a deep breath. We're going in. Actually, we're coming down. Okay? In the Patach of Eliyahu, as we know, as Elijah is making this unbelievable prayer, Eliyahu is making this unbelievable prayer coming from complete infinity, as much as that cannot be grasped. Infinity cannot be grasped. And he addresses God in such a way that he is beyond any kind of thoughts. No thought can contain you. And I usually use this all the time. You know, any time that I'm in prayer, and a lot of times when I'm in the Shema, you know, you have to just say that he's beyond any kind of concept. And what we're in the process of is we're in the process of making a connection to infinity. All of creation is about God made a creation and he put us down here, and the entire work of our creation, our life's work, is to establish that connection, right? We're here to touch infinity. We're here to connect to infinity coming from the finite places that we were in. And as Rabbi Arush said, I heard in a lecture that he said, you know, the goal, the whole purpose of your creation, if you ever want to know what's the purpose of your creation, and of course he says the one magic word, which is?
Easy.
Oh no, that's my word. Yes, but it's emunah. Emunah. Which means what? Just to know everything is coming from God. Every single thing comes from the infinite, and God is way beyond what we can possibly grasp. Every single thing is about emunah. Everything is about accepting every single thing that God is directing and guiding our lives totally. And through this study and through this prayer here, we are trying to get a grasp of it. But as we start off with the very beginning, he says, listen, Master of the universe, you are unity and that cannot be reckoned, cannot be counted. You're above all those who are above and concealed more than any who are concealed. You're the highest of the highest. You're the hidden of the hidden. No thought is able to grasp you at all. Okay? And then you are the one now coming from infinity. We now are coming now down from infinity into creation, or the beginning of creation. And he says, you are the one who brought forth 10 levels, or 10 tikkunim, which we refer to as 10 Sphero. By them you guide all the worlds, both the revealed and the concealed. Everything is driven through these 10 tikkunim, or these 10 Sphero. Through them you are concealed from the human race, totally hidden. And thank God, because you know why? There's no other way that man could have a connection to you. You are the one who unites them and joins them. All of these 10 Sphero, which seemingly they're 10, but really they're united. Just like our bodies, as we say. The soul unites our body. Our body has different parts. We have a left arm, a right arm, left leg, right leg. Yet it all works in a unison. God so too joins all of these Sphero together, that they work in one unison. You dwell within them. Therefore, anyone who would dare to try to separate one of these 10 Sphero from another is considered having tried to separate your unity. We never try to separate one of these 10 Sphero that we've been learning. These 10 Sphero all follow in accordance to their nature. One is long, one is short, and one is middle. And we discussed what that is. Long, short, and middle is, don't forget, these are called in Hebrew hanhagot. They're guiding powers. How God guides the world. And there's a long, there's a short, and there's a medium. The long, of course, is kindness. God's love. He extends. And then there's the short one, which is din, judgment. And then there's the middle, which is we call rachamim. We call it compassion. Which really, you're not deserving, but we're still going to give you anyway. We call that the middle path. We discussed also in those 3 pillars that we discussed in the 10 Sphero. If you might be familiar with them, maybe you should get a picture of them. Okay. Let's hope this works. If it doesn't, it's emunah. Okay. So these are the 10 Sphero, and they work on 3 columns that we learned before, right? The right column is called kindness, love. The left column is called din, or judgment. And the middle column, we call it rachamim. Now the other way to look at it, that is that the world stands on 3 things. when you say these three things, these three pillars, Ha'olam omed al shloshet dvarim, the world stands on three things, and that is acts of loving kindness, avoda, Torah. Torah is the middle. Torah, avoda, prayer, that's the left column. That's the left. And then acts of loving kindness are the right. We also had, your homework was which you don't have to go over it now, but a person's whole life is to find out which one of those pillars are the strongest in. Are you more stronger in kindness, deeds of loving kindness? Are you more stronger in learning, studying? You can concentrate and focus. Are you more stronger in prayer? Some people, they love to pray, and it's really easy for them. Some people, such a drag. They have resistance. They'll do it, but there's resistance. Sometimes people, it's easy to pray. But when it comes to doing an act of loving kindness, they'll do it, but there's resistance. So the place where you're the most strongest, of course, is the thing that comes easily, naturally, and you excel in. That's called Yehud. That's called your destiny. That is your strength that you need to know that you have. And then there's your tikkun. Tikkun means your rectification. We're all here to fix something, which is emunah. Okay? But now it comes in the form of one of these three pillars, that you have the most resistance, that the evil inclination gets the better of you at these times. Like if a person learning, when it comes to study, he'll study, but there's resistance, and he won't apply himself to it, to learn it with clarity, and he won't apply his mind to study it to the depth. Or maybe prayer is the same. He won't apply himself. He'll do it, but he finds his evil inclination gets him there. Or kindness, deeds of loving kindness. The person has resistance to it. Anyways, that's your homework. You have to find out, where is your tikkun? Where is your yehud? What is your tikkun? It's one of these three. And these are the three, that's what he says here. These 10 Sphero in the second paragraph at the very top, these 10 Sphero all follow in accordance to their nature. One is long, one is short, and one is the middle. Now Eliyahu is still, he's in, of course this whole thing is a prayer. You are the one who guides them through, though there is none who guides you. Not from above, not from below, not from any side. In other words, God is not bound by these Sphero. You have ordained them to be garments. That's not a correct translation, okay? The translation here that we say it is Levushin tekinan lo. You have fixed garments for these 10 Sphero. The garments have 10, the 10 Sphero, we say, have garments. These garments we call the worlds. As we know in our tradition, in Kabbalah, we have 4 worlds. The world of Atzilut, the highest, closest to the infinity. It's called Atzilut, which means nearness. The one down from there is called creation, Bariah. And then further away, we have Yetzirah, formation. And then furthest is Asiya, which is making. So those, we say, those worlds, which are a garment for the Sphirot, which are in the highest world, which we said, which is Atzilut. And we say, from these worlds, Minayhu parachin nishmasin livnei adam, from here fly out the souls of mankind. In other words, all our souls came from one of these. Okay? Some people actually, very rare, but there's some souls that came from the highest place, called Atzilut. King David came from the Malchut of Atzilut. That's at the address. When we describe the spiritual realm, we're describing it in addresses. That's how my father-in-law always said. It's an address in the spiritual realm. It's not a physical address, it's an address. Almost like you can punch in on a website, right? It's a site. Where is it? It's not local, right? Maybe it's in some database in some place, but it's all over, right? So these are also non-local fields, but they're addresses through the names. Okay. So King David came from a Malchut of Atzilut. Some people came from Bariah. Some people came from the lower world of Yetzirah. Some people came from the lowest world called Asiya, making. Okay. But in any case, from here we say is where the souls fly out from. deminaihu. Let me just think for a second here. Yeah, from these garments fly out and go out the neshamos to mankind. Okay? And then he goes on to say, V'kama gufin tekinan lo. Now, we have a number of bodies you also fixed for these 10 Sphirot. The dekriu gufa legabe levushin demiskasyan aleihon. That through these bodies, is the iskariu gufa. They are called a body in relationship to the garments that is covering them. In other words, just like we have our neshama, we have a soul, we have a body, and then we wear clothes. The same thing by the spiritual realm. There's going to be what's called a garment. There's what's going to be called a body, and we call those the names of God. And then there's what's called the soul, which we'll get to. Okay? So now he's going to describe the body parts. I think we've done this before. And this is the order. Now this is their order, really. In the exact language, it says, "Is kariu." They're called this. We have to never lose the tendency to become anthropomorphic here, to think that there's body parts in heaven, because he's describing here in the most highest of places. So we can't say Chesed is the right arm, that yes, there is a right arm, but it's not like our right arm. Don't forget, any time, and every time, and we have to remind ourselves constantly, every single thing that we experience down here is a reflection, a darkened reflection of something that is in the spiritual realm. These 10 Sphirot, the garments, every single thing that we see down here is a reflection, a shadow of something in the spiritual realm that we have no idea what it is. But we borrow terms, okay? We borrow the word right arm because we understand something about a right arm, even though our right arm is not a real right arm. Okay? But we're going to borrow the terminology of right arm, and we're going to say Chesed is the right arm. Gevura is the left arm. Tiferet is the torso. Netzach and Hod, which are the other Sphirot, are the 2 legs. And Yesod is the end of the body. It is the sign of the Holy Covenant. And we said Malchut is the mouth of the Holy Covenant. And now to just shift everything, as he does, as they do a lot of times, we refer to her as the oral Torah. Okay, why do we refer to her as the oral Torah? Okay, Malchut, the mouth. So the best way I understand this is, we spoke about the lower 7 Sphirot. We spoke about that these are the mental Sphirot, and these are the emotional Sphirot. This is Malchut, where we are, okay? Or the Shekhinah, or the Divine Presence, okay? The feminine. We spoke about these, 1, 2, Chesed, Gevura, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, right? And these are the 6 extremities, where we refer to this, for those people, nice review, as Zer Anpin, which means?
The small face.
Small face, okay? Or we call it Ein Sof. What does Ein Sof mean?
No end.
No end. Eternity. Right? There are levels and levels of no end. Okay? We think infinity, no. There's levels of infinity beyond even the infinity that we can grasp as an infinity. Okay? So, in any case, Zer Anpin, we call that written law. And then here we call oral law. Why? If you look at your head also has 7 orifices, right? Our head has 7 orifices in our head. 2 ears, 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, and then 1 mouth. They ask in the Gemara, why would we have 2 mouths? They ask that. Why wouldn't we make with 2 ears, 2 nostrils, 2 eyes? Why not 2 mouths? 1 for Kodesh, they ask this, and 1 for speaking mundane things about business, right? So you know what they answer? Remember? Anyway. This is the answer. It's funny. It's great. It's like, don't think that they don't have a sense of humor in the Talmud, okay? They say 1 mouth gets us into enough trouble. If we had 2, boy, we'd be in a lot of trouble. Okay? Okay? But we see in the orifices of our mouths, we have the 6 Sphirot also, a likeness. The 7th being the mouth. And this is where the oral Torah comes from. It has to be said. It has to be taught. It has to be expressed. And then the written law, of course, comes from the higher realm. Okay? You need written law and you need oral law. Okay?
Yes.
And now, that was the body. That's the body. Okay? Now he's going to talk about the head. Chachma, going on in the 3rd paragraph there, in the middle there, the 3rd line, second to last line. Chachma is the brain, which is inner contemplation. Actually, it's we call that the right brain. And Bina is the heart. Really, Bina is the left brain. Right? For it is the heart that understands. The reality is interestingly enough, in the spiritual realm, something that maybe we'll get to later, there's a sheath around the left brain, okay? A spiritual covering. That the opening of the covering is not opened until the place of the heart, okay? In other words, whatever energy is building up in the left brain, right? It can't be revealed. It's like concealed or held in place until the opening, which is here. The womb of Bina, we call it, is only open up until here, the heart, where the heart is. So that's why they call Bina to be understanding, and understanding is in the heart. It's not expressed until we get to the heart. Even though the heart, everybody understands, is like different things, right? When you speak of the heart, okay, we understand the heart, but we understand like the heart is usually like the most deepest place of the mind. And it is. The thing is, it's just not expressed until there, okay? Bina is the heart, for it is the heart that understands. Regarding these 2 Sphirot, it is written, the hidden things belong to Yud-Kei Vav-Kei, our God. Yud-Kei Vav-Kei, our God, actually corresponds to Yud-Kei Vav-Kei is right brain. Our God is left brain. The hidden, why are they hidden? Because they're in your skull. You don't see the brain. They're not exposed body parts. The same thing in the spiritual realm, that these elements, there are elements of things that are so hidden and so sublime, we can't possibly touch them. Okay? Now, above, beyond of that is called supernal keter. The supernal keter is the crown of Malchut. Okay? Why do we say that the supernal keter is the crown of Malchut? Is because really, in reality, I might have shared this with you before. Of it is said, it tells the end from the beginning. Okay? Which is what? This is something very basic, but let's do this. Let's say we have the world of nearness. Let's say we have the world of creation. Then we have the world of formation and making. Okay? So in here you'll have 10 Sphirot. Right? But actually this Sphira really becomes the Keter, the last Sphira here. Did I do it right? The last Sphira here of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is Malchut. It relates to this, to these 10. But it still is it's the first Sphira of the next Sphira above it. And the same thing by here also. Okay? In other words, in the end, which is the Malchut, really, it's just the beginning of another level. You know, they say Moshe Rabbeinu, he went up 49 levels of understanding. He reached the 49th level of understanding. What, there's no 50th level? Absolutely, there's a 50th level. There's a 50th gate of understanding. But that 50th gate, when he got to it, that was just the first step of another 50, of another 49 levels. And then when we got to that, it's just the next, when you get to the 50th, you're just on the first step of a whole nother world, a whole nother process, a whole nother level of growth to go up. They say that the righteous in the next world don't rest. There's no rest for the righteous in the next world. A shocking statement. They work this whole lifetime and there's no rest for the righteous in the next world? What? Yeah. Why? Because you never want to stop growing. You know, if you think about eternity, you might get bored. Some people might think, right? No such thing. With infinity, there's always a new way to look at something. There's always a new insight. It's just like when we go to Torah classes and we look at the Parsha, and you might have looked at this text again, and you looked at it again, and then when you look, and each time you look at it, there's something new. Always. The Torah has to be looked at like that. So it's always new. In other words, even though, yeah, you have a question?
Yes.
Yeah.
For instance, when we were out from Egypt, there were 49 levels of impurity.
Yes.
So how does this work? It's the 0 and 49 here and 49 there, or how does this
The
work?
Leshem actually brings it to an argument. If there's a 50th level of purity, would you believe it? Astounding, shocking. Not everybody holds there's a 50th level of purity. Some people say, oh, no, we had to get out before we fell to the 50th level. It's not so true. He holds a completely different reason why we had to get out right away. Completely different, astounding reason. Okay? So in terms of, let's say, if you'll understand that there are some people who do understand a 50th gate of Tumah, right? So it works exactly like this. And you know why? How? Somebody shared it with me just this week. Something fascinating. They're coming out with in science. I forgot what they call it. Oh, like negative impression or something like that. I forgot. Maybe you know. I don't know. It's like for every single thing, there's its counterpart in the universe. For every single thing, it has a balanced counterpart existing somewhere in the universe. There's nothing that exists on its own, so to speak. Every single thing, no matter what it is, no matter what, and stars, planets, all of creation has some kind of symmetric counterpart somewhere.
Like a mirror.
Mirror, whatever it is, it's So I always instantly go to the evil Mr. Spock. I can't help it, right? The goatee,
Yes.
So, but it's not necessarily that, but everything has a balance, and we say Zulu matzu asa Elokim. God made this one corresponding this one. It fits right in. Fits right in with the Torah. God made the forces of tumah, of impurity, to be equal to the forces of purity. So with 50 gates in understanding, there are 50 gates of tumah, of misunderstanding. Boy, that's a lot of misunderstanding, wouldn't you think? Oh, it's just a misunderstanding. Okay? No, okay? Tumah is serious. Okay? Or, the way that we look at tumah tumah is a lack of life energy. A lack of life energy. So, with the 49 levels of tumah, we correspond the 50 gates or 49 levels of understanding, which is 49 levels of chiyut, or life energy. Each one is a new insight. Each one. And that's what Sphero is about. As a matter of fact, we're going to get to that right now, in a few minutes. Okay? Okay. So, question? No. Okay. I know I'm flying through this because we did all this before, okay? So we have so in the spiritual realm, there's such a thing called a chachma, there's such a thing called a bina. These are addresses in the spiritual realm. They are very concealed. And above those is called keter. Keter in the spiritual realm is the crown. Okay, and we call it malchut because it's the highest, but yet, even though it's the highest, it's the lowest of the realm that is totally above it. Our skulls seem to be something that only encase the brain. How are you saying that keter, which corresponds the skull, is a high, sublime thing? So they explain. He says he asked the question, and he says, it shouldn't go on the mind of a tinok of a child who's a day old. Such a question, but then again, he asked the question and answers it. So obviously it does. Okay, so he says keter, crown, is such a infinity. It's such a level of infinity, of ein kates that cannot be measured over chachma, bina, and dat. Those are the mental sphero. And it's considered v'nechshav etzlo kol lo hayu. They are considered by it as if there nothing exists. They don't even exist at all. But the inyan is like this, that the minds of Chachma, Bina, and Dat, they are below the aspect of Keter. They're not inside it. They're not within it. Keter is above it, hovers above it. And they are way below it. However, the Keter that we have inside, that's called the skull that we have. Don't forget, everything is borrowed terminology here. Don't get involved, okay? Don't take it literally. But the skull that we see is encasing our brains, which is a reflection of something in the spiritual realm. That's only the lowest part, the external part of what is a crown. Really, there's a much higher, inner, deeper aspect of crown or intelligence, okay, that is beyond anything. The only thing that we are experiencing is a lower aspect, an outer aspect of crown, and that is represented by the skull. But really, there's things way above, way above, and way beyond. And that's why he calls it right now, the skull is the place where the tefillin rest. Okay? The tefillin, interestingly enough, okay? Tefillin, what is tefillin? Okay? The way I look at tefillin is it is a transformer. That it helps to take, there's different kinds of levels of soul that we have. There are only 3 that are anchored in the body. That's the nefesh, the ruach, and the neshama. The nefesh is in our guts, right? The liver. The ruach, the spirit, is in most of our emotions, the heart. And the neshama, which really is in our mind. And then there's 2 levels, which are called peripheral. They can't even be contained in the body. They cannot be anchored. So you can say they hover around. Yeah. Around somewhat. Okay? They're way above and beyond. And they have the most ultimate ideas, the most ultimate thoughts. But you need a vessel to catch them. Right? How do you catch them? How do you grasp the ultimate thought? And we all want the ultimate thought. Everybody wants an aha. You come on Sunday nights because you want the aha. Give me the aha, Rabbi. Right? The tefillin catches the aha. Women don't need tefillin. You know why? Because their transformer is built in. They don't need tefillin. They have an inner transformer. You know, you go to Israel sometimes, the machines that you plug in have an inner transformer. You just need to press a 110, go to 110, or 220 to 110, right? Mm-hmm. Do you know how many electric shavers I burnt out? Okay, so many. You're talking about like every year. You know, I had to ask my dad to send me another shaver. He says, "What happened to the one I sent you?" I couldn't come up with any more excuses. I just had to say a camel stepped on it, right? They just burn out. Okay, you need a transformer. You need to tone down the energy, the heat. The neshama's on fire. We have neshamas that are on fire. We have to catch those thoughts. Now, through prayer, we catch those thoughts. Okay? That's why you have to, men, they need it. Okay? They need to be remembered. They need to focus. Okay? Women have it built in. Okay? So the men need the tefillin there to catch the thoughts that can't get in. Okay? So therefore, it acts as a transformer to grasp that cosmic idea that can give us that extra chiyus, that could give us that strength and that koach to go on, to carry on throughout our day. Okay? Some people, wear tefillin all day long. In Israel, they do. Right? They cover it if they have to go buy some milk at the grocery store. I've seen them. The people from the Silverman congregation in the old city. Some people hold by it. Most people say, no, you can't, because a man can't have, if a man's mind wanders, it's not good. It's not good. You can't have these things, and then the mind is going on things that are external and not holy. So therefore, they recommend a person to take them off. Okay? So in any case, tefillin relates to Keter because it relates to the highest level of thinking, the highest style of thinking, the highest idea that a person can have, to just reach up and try to grasp and try to suck in and try to gain some kind of insight, some kind of extra thought, okay? Through prayer, okay? So now we're going to get that was the body. We discuss now the mind. Chachma, Bina, Keter, fill in. Now we're going to get into the neshama. And this is what's pretty dynamic here, okay? The neshama. Now don't forget, we're talking about a cosmic entity, okay? We're talking about something in the cosmic realm is beyond, but you know something? When we learn it and we go over it, and just if you entertain the thoughts just for a second, you instantly connect to it. For some reason, there is a tikkun made just sitting here listening to it. There's some effect that is happening in the psyche, okay? Right now, as we speak. As you learn about it, because if you didn't know that there was a palace, would you ever be able to contemplate such a thing? You have to be introduced that there is a palace. There is an enchanted world, okay? So now, from within the name, from within, meaning within all of these 10 Sphirot, there is a neshama. And I went through these names with you. Oh, you didn't have this, Gary. Do you have this? Sorry. We're right here. Now, this is pretty, okay? This is called the prayer of Elijah, Eliyahu the prophet. Actually, in the beginning of every Sephardic Siddur, they say it before prayers, every single one of their prayers. They have it memorized, right? It's said to have special property to have one's prayers answered. It's a great meditation, and it's also a very basic kind of understanding that puts every single thing that we've been learning together.
In Sephardic, but not Ashkenazi.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You missed out this evening.
Hey, listen, I was born in an Ashkenaz body. There's nothing I can do about it. Thank God there's some people that helped us. But yes, you can still access it.
No, I can put it in my prayer book.
That's right. Right. From within comes the name Yud-Kei Vav-Kei. Now this Yud-Kei Vav-Kei actually is a special name. Like I've taught you guys before, there are 4 different names that you can write out the name of God. We have the Yud-Kei Vav-Kei that we all know. The 4-letter name of God, Tetragrammaton, right?
Yes.
But then if you write out the letters as they are, there's 4 different ways you can write it out in Kabbalistic tradition. There's 4 different ways you can write out the letters Yud. Actually, Yud is only one way to write it out, and that's Yud Vav Dalet, as you see there. Hey could be spelled in 3 different ways. Hey could be spelled a Hey Yud. Hey, because I'm saying the letter. As I'm saying the letter, I'm actually saying a word. The letter is called a name. A name has more than 1 syllable in it, more than 1 letter. So if I say the letter Hey, I'm saying more than 1 letter. So you can write it out, Hey Yud. You can write out Hey Aleph, or you can write out Hey Hey. Here's written out Hey Aleph. And then there's the next one, Vav. If I write out the name, the word letter Vav, there are 1, 2, 3 ways to write out the letter Vav. Vav, Yud Vav, Vav, Aleph Vav, and Vav, Vav. And then Hey is also the same way, 3 letters. But anyways, this is one of the 4. Okay? I don't know if I ever gave it to you. Did I ever give this to you, folks?
Yeah, I think you did. Yes, and
One of those.
You told us each one has its own gematria.
Right, they do. Absag Ma Ben. Okay?
Yes.
And just check your name if you can. My director likes to just know if anybody comes. Did you teach a class? There's nobody there. Okay? So, this is very important for you. This is called the shame of Ma. 45. If you add up the numerical value of this name of God, it is 45. 45 is very significant, okay? Because it is the same numerical value of Adam. Okay? I'm not going to do it here. Okay? So, let me just show you something now. I know it's going to be here. And I'm pulling an Ashkenaz Siddur now, Gary. Because I have a feeling we're going to be lucky tonight. Okay? But then again, do you use an art scroll?
Yes, that one.
So the shame of Ma, what is it? What are you talking about? Hey, listen. I said that there's 3 aspects of Kabbalah. There's theoretical, there's meditative, and then there's practical. Okay? So when you look at this name of Yud-Kei Vav-Kei, you have to understand it's meditative. That really what you have to do, you have to look at the letters, okay? And when you meditate on the letters and you picture the letter in your mind, Yud, Vav, Dalet, just picture it. Hey, Aleph. Vav, Aleph, Vav. Hey, Aleph. You actually are making a connection to something in the way cosmic realm in your inside of your soul. Every time you're doing that. Okay? Now the question is, okay, Rabbi, you're telling me something, but we didn't even complete the sentence. Okay? But I needed to show you something practical. Probably it's here. How come I just can't find it here? Okay. And it's... One second. We didn't luck out with these guys. Okay. No, they didn't have it in here. Okay. Maybe in the Nusach Sfard. Okay. And if it's not in here, well, then you're going to have to just take my word for it.
Okay. I guess this is everybody.
No, they didn't have it here. How sad. Okay. What can you do? Art scroll. Okay. So, in any case, let's look at it and then I'll tell you about it. Okay. We're on the 1, 2, 3, 4th paragraph. From within. All of these sphirot are directed from a force, a neshama. And this neshama has a name. The name is this name, Yud Kei Vav Kei, spelt in this way, which is the numerical value of Ma. Mem He, okay? And this is the path of Atzilut. 1 second, let me see how it is here. Milagav ihu Yud Kei Vav Kei, di'ihu orach Atzilut. Di'ihu orach Atzilut, shehu derech hamshacha. This is the way that is drawn down from the infinite light in all of the sphirot of Atzilut. Is through, I guess, this name. V'hu mikasher u'mechaber et kol ha'orot. This name actually connects and joins all of the lights and all of the sphirot of the world of Atzilut. That's the highest world. Shayu mechuborim b'hitkalus gamur amiti. It makes them join to be an unbelievable, complete connection. Ihu shakyu di'ilana. This name, the name of Ma, that we call it, it waters the cosmic tree. I call it the cosmic tree. We'll call it the upper tree. Which is, what do we call the cosmic tree? When we talk about, in Kabbalah, we talk about the tree of life, and this is always known to be the tree of life. Okay? So we say that this name of Yud Kei Vav Kei, spelled in this way of Ma, this is the force, actually, that waters the tree. It is like a tree that extends from it branches to all sides. It is a vessel, a body, a spiritual body of all of the 10 Sphirot that the tree is extending, with legs, with arms, with its branches, as water that waters the tree. Kamaya da ashke le'inana, kamo hamayim hamashkim le'ilan, just like water waters the tree. Bisrabe bahu shakyu. And then through watering the tree, v'hugadel al yedei hashka hazos, and it grows through this watering. Thus, the same thing is the name of Ma. That is the soul which causes and gives life to all of the vessels of the 10 Sphirot, and with its power, it acts its acts. In other words, it affects its acts. In other words, it has a powerful effect. The meditation of this name of Yud Kei Vav Kei actually is the only time that is mentioned that we actually, it's mentioned many times in meditations, but what is built in, fascinatingly enough, is in the Sphira, the counting of the Omer. That's what I was looking up here. If I have in my Hebrew Siddur, when it has, even if it's a simple Ashkenaz Siddur, but if it's all in Hebrew, it has the blessing of Sfirat HaOmer.
Sfirat's in the back of there.
Yeah.
What?
In the back of the Ashkenaz Siddur.
What? Sfirat HaOmer is right here.
Oh, okay.
It's usually at the end of Mariv.
Yeah.
Unless they put it in the end.
Yeah, I know it's
No,
in mine.
they didn't put it. If you had all Hebrew siddur,
Yeah.
so when it says the blessing of Baruch Atah Hashem,
Yes.
you have to stop, and usually in parentheses, it has the name, this name that I'm telling you, spelled out. Yud Kei Vav Kei, in this way. You have to meditate, picture the letters in your mind. It is a meditation. And really what is it doing? Because the Sphira to Omer, that everybody does, even the Ashkenaz, right? Even the Ashkenaz have, before Sphira to Omer, a L'Shem Yichud, Kudsha B'Richu. Do you know that? The Art Scroll has it, right? Yeah, that's the L'Shem Yichud. Oh, you found it even. Thank you. So usually I have it, it's also in the blessing itself. But you're right. Here, thank you. You helped me. 312. Here, hand this to him.
Yeah.
Hand him this one.
Okay.
It's an Ashkenaz. And it's in there. And they don't know what the heck it is. But you know. Okay? Shh. L'shem yichud kudsha b'richu shchinte. I don't think, maybe the only other place where you have a L'Shem Yichud Kudsha B'Richu Shchinte, which literally means, what? For the sake of the unification of the Holy One, blessed be He, and His divine
Baruch
presence.
She'amar, I think before Baruch She'amar. That sounds very familiar.
Maybe in the Nusach Sfard. I know I have it in my Nusach Sfard. It should be in the Nusach Sfard, but it's not in the Nusach Ashkenaz. I could be wrong, but Gary will have to pass me back the book. Okay? No, let's not do it now. Okay? Yeah, and here, let me just look at in Mincha. Let me just find it. Let me just see if it's here. They don't do it much. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, fine. Of course it's going to be here. Okay? Can't seem to turn the pages right. I'm not used to navigating. It does have it here. Okay. Yes, it's before Baruch Shamar, but I don't think it's in the Ashkenaz Siddur Baruch Shamar. But and I don't even think, and I think before Natilas Lulav, it also has what's called a L'Shem Yichud. But usually before any mitzvah, you have a L'Shem Yichud. Okay. Before Mincha, before Arvit, right? In the Sephardi Siddur, it's what is L'Shem Yichud meaning? For the sake of the unity of the Holy One, blessed be He, and His divine presence. What does that mean? For the sake of the unity of the Holy One, blessed be He, Ein Sof, and His divine presence, Malchut, which means the collective consciousness of the Jewish people. In other words, we want all of the Jews to connect to God. We want all of the minds and hearts of all of the Jews to connect to God. We do this not for us. We do this that all of humanity, which is in here, this Sphira, should all have this connection. God is nothing more that He wants than to connect, right? To His creation, right? To Malchut. There's nothing more than He wants to give. So every single thing that we do, we focus on this L'Shem Yichud. But that's not what I wanted to get to. I wanted to get to this, okay? In the Sphira to Omer, B'Dichilu Orachim, what we say, in love and fear, the Ached Shem Yud Kei B'Vav Kei, and it says here, and it has here, for the sake of the uniting of the name of Yud Kei with Vav Kei, and it spells it out with the name of Ma. In other words, it spells it out with the name of the Yud and the Hey and the Vav and Hey, and you can pass this around here, it's right here, okay? The idea really here is, this name is very powerful, okay? The tree is very powerful. There's a great story of Rabbi Nachman, one of my favorite stories, called the Cripple. Okay? And in the beginning of the Cripple, and all of his stories are just unbelievably wild and very deep, and they have layers and layers of depth and mysticism and mystical concepts hidden within each story. But the beginning of the story of the Cripple was the father who had all of these sons and all these kids, and he had one son who was a cripple, and before he died, he says, his last words were, make sure you water the trees. You must always water the trees. Okay? Of course not. What the heck? What trees? Right? We live in a 50-story penthouse in Manhattan. What are you talking about? Right? There's no trees. What are the trees? Okay? So obviously it's a spiritual story, and it's about watering trees. And we spoke last time, I mentioned in the story of Rabbi Nachman, and also in that same story about the cripple, that he was on a business venture, got robbed in the middle of the forest. The people who he were with ran. He was stuck. He had to eat grasses. So he would crawl and eat grass, and when that place was filled and he finished the grass there, he had to crawl himself to another place to eat grass. And he crawled and he crawled and he crawled till he got to this one special grass. He never saw this grass before. He says, "Wow, this looks like really unique grass here." You're laughing, right? We're in Texas, okay? We're not in Colorado or California, okay? So he says, I'm going to eat this entire grass because this looks like a real special grass. And he rips it up, and there's a diamond hanging off the roots of the grass, and it has inscriptions on the diamond. And it's a funky magic diamond, okay, because it says whatever you grip, that side of the diamond, whatever it says there, that's going to happen to you, right? It's a great story. You can make a great movie out of it, right? So the part that he grabbed was, whoever grasped this side of the diamond, it's a pity to return home because you will be transported to the place where the sun and the moon meet. I didn't share this with you?
You started to.
I did. Okay, I wasn't going to go through the whole thing. It's a nice one. So he grasped that part of the diamond, and instantly he's transported to where the sun and the moon are having a conversation. And the sun is fetching about this tree. It's such a beautiful tree. Every single thing comes from this tree. It can heal people. It can give children where people are childless. It could give parnasa. It could do everything. The fruit of these trees, the leaves of these trees. This tree is this unbelievable thing. It has unbelievable potential, this tree. But I am the sun, and I burn it up. I don't water it. I burn it up. Okay. So, this is the tree. Okay? This is your introduction. A light introduction to the tree. But then there's the idea of what we're calling watering the tree. What are we talking about, Rabbi? The simple meditation on Sphirata Omer. To look in the siddur. If not, I'll send it to you. The Yud Ke Vav Ke spelt out in this. When you say that blessing, you are igniting the Shekhinah. Just with a simple prayer. The words we say have tremendous significance down here. The actions we do, tremendous significance. So even in the thought, you just think of and meditate on the name of Yud Ke Vav Ke in this way, where it's Yud Vav Daled. What is it? Hey Aleph, Vav Aleph Vav, and Hey Aleph. Just to meditate on that, you are the force that is watering the tree. Okay? Sphirata Omer has tremendous potential to bring us out of the 49 levels of Tuma. They don't, right? Because why is it 49? Because if you have the lower 7 here, and each one has 7, the lower 7 within it, 7 and 7 is 49. Each one of the days of the Sphira is one of those days. You're watering the garden, you're fixing the garden. Okay? Our minds, our lives, our souls are a garden. Okay? So the name is the soul, and the soul is causing the watering of the garden. Okay? The orach atzilus ihu shakyu di ilana b'deroi v'anpoi kamai da'ashkeli inana v'isravi b'ahu shakyu. So he says, in all of its limbs and branches like water which irrigates a tree, by this water is this tree strengthened and thus grows. Okay? So he goes on a little bit more. Master of the universe, you are above all and the cause of all causes. And that's a very, just that line is a great line. I fought with somebody today about it. Somebody on Shabbos about it, How do you view cause and effect? How do you view sibot of sibot? How do you view it? Okay? So we always say, in terms of swinging back, Rabbi Nachman brings in Sichot Aran, a person who has a munah, his life is a real life, all his days. Has a much greater happiness than someone who does not have emunah. If you have emunah that everything comes from God, your life is a real life. Definitely if things go good, Baruch Hashem. But if things don't go good, at least you have someone, you could know that there's someone in control. There's someone running the show. Eventually things will open up. Eventually there'll be an answer. Eventually there'll be some kind of compassion, some kind of shift. But somebody who doesn't have emunah, who does he go to? He has nothing, right? Even when the Twin Towers happened, tremendous calamity, tremendous, right? But the people always think of my father. He said, thank God for God. Otherwise we'd have no explanation. The people who don't have it, where are they? They have no way to comfort them. They have no comfort at all. There's no hope. There's nothing. Thank God that we have God who runs, and somehow, eventually, there'll be an answer. Okay? And it somehow, in the scheme of infinity, it will all make sense. But the idea really is he's the ultimate cause. He's the source of everything. So when you think of it, you can think of a lower cause, or you can think of the cause of all causes. God is the cause of all causes. He causes every single thing to happen. Until a person can believe that, then they're caught up in the other train of thinking, and they're thinking, no, this is a different cause. I'm telling you, my whole day, since last night, I got smacked right in the head. Okay? And I'm doing better today than I was yesterday. Okay? I just lost two of my companies. One of my oldest, biggest company that I do kosher supervision to the OU. Okay? They somehow muscled in and got it and took my account. Now I can get mad at them. I get angry, write letters. I'm not going to change anything. Right? They are who they are. I can go, hey, it's from God. You understand? There's a higher game. There's a higher cause. And then there's a lower cause. Now, of course, I'm caught up in a little bit. But I'm aware, at least, that there's a higher cause. There's a cause of all causes. That God caused every single thing to happen for me to lose that account. Okay? So either I'm going to say it's from God, or I'm going to say it's from those guys. Okay? So if I say it's from those guys, what am I going to... But if I say it's from God, instantly what happens? There's a different, higher sense of relief that's in there, right? There's going to be, at least, it might not be totally gone, okay? But at least I know, okay, there's a manhig. God is in control. He's operating things. There's a reason for everything. If I look at him as being the ultimate cause of all causes, then there's no other real cause other than him. So when we say that you are the cause, you are above all and the cause of all causes, that's just something there that a person has to always keep in mind. That he's the cause that causes everything. There's no other cause that's down here in this world that does its own little game without him causing it to happen. He is the cause of all causes. That's part of emunah, and that's what we have to embed in us. Okay, we'll stop now.